Hello, Kyle Lewis, co-CEO, Oxygen Financial, sitting here with my partner and co-host, Ted Jenkins. How are you, sir? We're doing. Okay, Ted's going to be cool today. We're doing the post wrap-up show.
That was my Mike Vick move.
That was your Mike Vick?
Sweet.
The Heisman. We're doing the post wrap-up show on the 40-year-old business Virgin with Don Rountree from Rountree Group Communications.
It's been great.
Great show. Thanks a ton for coming on today.
Yeah, it's great.
Obviously we did, and I will tell folks, you need to call Don. He'll give you his contact information. We had some funny off-air stuff about there are all kinds of PR gaffes going on, whether it's Mel Gibson, Michael Vick, BP obviously, and I love that Toyota is thinking.
And that guy wearing that LeBron James jersey, the Cleveland games, that was just unbelievable.
I had said on a couple shows ago, it's bad
it.
enough living in Cleveland. You don't want to go to Cleveland and wear a LeBron James Miami shirt. This is not a good idea.
Bad move.
Well, Don, in your experience, typically in our post-show recap, we like to share with new entrepreneurs and existing entrepreneurs about some of the do's and don'ts about starting, growing, and running a successful business. And I know you've been in this for a long, long time. For a business owner out there that's starting a business and looking back at the mistakes that you may have made, although you've been a very, very successful firm, there's probably been some road bumps along the way. What's something you might recommend to a small business owner out there or somebody watching the 40-year-old business Virgin about something they should consider not doing, something that you did that said, I wish I would not have done
Probably
that?
Getting drunk and calling your wife or a girlfriend on a recorded line would be one, but I'm just guessing.
That may not hear.
Frankie Mel Gibson when you're drunk.
I think the first and foremost item is you got to get the right talent. You got to get the right talent, and you got to keep them. And of course, you're not going to make the right hiring decision, day in and day out as those months and quarters and those years pass. And former CEO Jack Welch, he would he'd cut 10% of his employees every year, just dead wood. He'd call it, you just got to cut the dead wood. And that it's a little cold, but as an entrepreneur, you want the best people, the right people to service those clients. And sometimes that means you may have to make a sacrifice as a business owner or as an entrepreneur. And sometimes you may have to pay people more than you're getting paid. You have to offer more benefits and more perks. And of course, when business is going well, that's great. But when business suffers a little bit, it's that entrepreneur that typically takes that first cut to get them through that down cycle. But you have got to find the right talent. Then you got to keep the right talent. I'm proud of one of the items that we have. We had a down cycle, of course, is we have maintained a fair number of our benefits. I think one of the most important benefits is paid time off, and we give folks 25 days off a year. Doesn't matter if you're a first-year associate or maybe.
I meant 2.5 days a year.
Yeah, 2.5 days.
Apparently, I put the decimal in the wrong place.
Paid time off is just. It's key. It's work-life balance, and I think that's a great way to retain folks. But you got to get the right people, and that's the first item.
And you had mentioned during the show that when your mom started the firm, she actually took less income than a bunch of the people she hired.
That's right. She did. But at the time, it made sense. She was fortunate where she landed, a few mid-sized accounts, and then she landed Chrysler Corporation in 8 states and introducing new products, new vehicles to the consumer marketplace. And she realized she needed a little bit more resources, a little bit more bandwidth. And one of the items that she did back then, and we're still a part of it, is we're part of a separate company called iPrex, and it's a consortium of 75 partner firms worldwide, independent PR agencies. And we've got paid employees in Europe and North America, and a board of about 50 folks and employees, about 1,200. And it allows Rountree Group to provide global communication on a local level. So we provide global reach, local expertise. And that was a costly investment. At the same time, you have to make those costly investments in HR.
What else would you say to a business owner out there? So one of the things I'm hearing you saying is that you've got to get the right talent on the bus. That really is critical, and it's a huge mistake if you just hire a friend or a buddy or somebody who isn't the right person for that job to start growing your firm. And you may need to actually take less salary than them, so sort of tuck your ego aside. What else did you say that you look in the last 20 years that you might have done differently?
Sure. Well, you have to embrace change. We talked a little bit about the generational
Wait,
gaps.
I want everything to stay the same.
You've got to embrace change, and you've got to embrace change quickly. If you don't act, you don't respond, you're going to be dead in the water. And I call it, walking through the woods at night. Sometimes you don't know where you are or where you're going, but 9 times out of 10, when you get through that change, you should be bigger, better, faster, and quicker. But that requires a positive attitude, patience, perseverance, and faith.
Well, and I'll tell the business owners, and we've learned this in our business, and we're very good at it now, is that you will not make hay forever. And I think that's part of what you're talking about. We saw that happen in the internet bubble when you had all the e-tailers, and many got shook out. But you've got to build up a cash reserve inside of your business, because you may think that your product's going to sell in perpetuity, or your service money's going to keep running in, but there could be a shift in a regulatory deal or just the economy or somewhere, and you've got to prepare by having those cash reserves to sustain your business.
Yeah, you do have to watch cash flow.
And you talked a good bit in the segment about you're a 25-year-old company.
Yeah.
I got to think that, 25 years ago, I don't think we had email.
Yeah.
It was
typewriters.
And so, typewriters. And so, you talked a good bit about having to stay and make those changes.
And I think kind of lead into kind of the third item, the third tip is to finding new revenue sources, new coffers, new ways to generate new dollars for your company, because what we did 25 years ago is not making us a whole lot of money today. So you have to change, and you have to evolve, and you have to find new revenue sources. And I think for entrepreneurs, once you kind of hit your stride, you have to be creative and think differently about how you can generate new dollars.
No, I think that's really important. A lot of business owners may have one form of business, but again, something changes regulatory-wise, economy-wise, it may shrink up that business. We've started 3 companies and likely add a 4th or a 5th simply for that reason. It does allow us to throttle that if one area is performing better than another, that may be where you make more investment, but you've got to do it, because at the end of the day, you can either only get more new customers, or you can figure out how to deepen wallet share, and you've got to create superior value somewhere else to make more wallet share, from your business, right?
Exactly. And, a little plug for Rountree Group. We are a diverse firm, but we do have kind of 4 areas of expertise, and that's B2B, consumer, healthcare, and real estate. Obviously, our real estate practice is kind of dried up, but healthcare and B2B is strong.
Especially in Atlanta, too, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's a killer, but we're fortunate we've worked for a lot of great real estate companies, on the residential side and on the commercial side. But, it's like you said, you got different lines of business, and it's nice to be diverse so you can throttle accordingly. But that would be the third item for entrepreneurs to keep in mind.
So on a fun side, your top 3 PR gaffes of all time?
Well, Tiger Woods, he really kind of put it on out there pretty good. The tried and true is the Tylenol situation, which is old but still in textbooks today. But for new media, you got to be careful, like the Domino's pizza. It's out there, and you got to be conscious of it. You got to protect that. You got to protect that.
So with Toyota, you were saying?
Yeah, Toyota is grateful to BP. Thanks to BP, Toyota's out of the news.
Well, every phone now has a camera on it.
Oh yeah, it's
most of them have video camera, and so I think people have to be far more conscious about where they are, what they say, how they say it than ever before.
Oh yeah.
If Toyota had played it smart, what they would have done.
They sent somebody down there to load that up.
This would have been the year.
I'm calling that right now.
Well, this year, Don, if you can pass your entire estate if you pass away, and if they played it right, they would have said they made the sticky pedals just for the estate. They had done that.
They could have marketed that to everybody who had old relatives.
I would have spun that way, but then again,
wow,
that's
an interesting way to spin that. That's horrible.
Well, Don, for those that are watching the post-show recap, how can folks out there, if they want to increase their communications management strategy, how can they get in touch with your firm and hire the Rountree Group?
Well, I appreciate it. You can call us at 770-645-4545 or reach us at RountreeGroup.com. That's ROUNTREE Group.com.
Well, you've just watched the post recap of the 40-Year-Old Business Virgin. Tune in live on Atlanta Business Radio X every Friday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. I'm your co-host, Ted Jenkins, sitting here with my co-host, Kyle Lewis, and our guest, Don Rountree. Thanks for joining us this week.
Don.
Thanks a lot, fellas. Appreciate it.
Have a great week.
Thank you.